Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. But let's talk about Dennis Allen and some of the things that he had to say yesterday in his first media availability as the Saints turned the page on Dallas and started heading towards the Philadelphia Eagles. And Allen obviously had a chance to watch the film Sunday night and met with reporters on Monday and had an opportunity to say what it looked like after cutting the tape up.
You know, there was a lot of good things that we did in the game, and yet there's some things that we got to get cleaned up. You know, I think there was, a couple of targeting issues in the run game that we've got to improve on. A couple of penalties which cost us. I think defensively, our third down stats weren't where they needed to be. It was probably more of a product of what we did on second down, getting them into too many shorter yardage situations, which caused us not to be as good on third down. We were much better in the second half than we were in the first half. And so, when you come off a game like that, everybody kind of feels good about, the outcome of the game, and yet there's a lot of things in there that we have to clean up. And so that's what we're in here today, hard at work on doing, and then we'll turn our attention to Philly.
That's just the classic Dennis Allen, whether they're 2-0 and the toast of the NFL or they're, middling 500 team that everybody's cranky with. He's just going to always say, we got some things to clean up. He's got some things to clean up. The good news is that it appears they've avoided significant injury with Taysom Hill. Obviously, he left with that chest injury, and Dennis Allen updated on Taysom Hill's progress.
Taysom's doing good. He feels good, and I don't know if we've gotten all the results back on. He went and had some more imaging today, but I think we avoided anything real serious.
Ross Jackson, who covers the Saints for us at LouisianaSports.net and does the Locked On Saints podcast as well, had an interesting thought when Taysom went out, and he was writing this in his post-game on Sunday, said, look, that's a guy that you lose one guy, any NFL team, and you just kind of put the backup in. You lose Taysom, and you lose an aspect of what you're trying to do. Obviously, you have players on your team that can do something that Taysom brings to the table. You don't hand it to Taysom. You can hand it to Jamal Williams. You'll be all right. You don't have Taysom line up that H-back position where you can put Foster Moreau there and you're okay. You want to snap it directly to Kamara. You can do that. Same thing that you could do for Taysom. But you're missing a guy that can do all those things. And so when you lose Taysom, it's kind of like losing more than one player. It's like losing an aspect of your team that no one can really fill in for. So it's great news for New Orleans that Taysom appears to be okay. We talked about the running game in the first hour, and we wanted to kind of play some of Dennis Allen's thoughts on said running game, and he really liked the success they had running the ball on third down.
Well, look, I think it's all about making the defense have to defend the whole gamut of plays, defend the whole field. I think sometimes you make it easy on the defense when you just want to drop back and pass it all the time and allow them just to rush the passer. And in particular, when you're facing a team that rushes the passer as well as Dallas can. So I think that's just something that's always part of the arsenal, and you have it available to you. And it's just really about, making that call at the right time.
The red zone was where the Saints were awful early on last year. I mean, awful. They actually moved the ball in some of those games. Green Bay, Houston, they moved the football. They couldn't do anything when they got to the red zone. And everybody's like, well, Derek Carr was bad in the red zone in Vegas. He was bad in the red zone in Oakland. He's bad in the red zone now. And that all may be true, but they've gotten better at it, and Dennis Allen has appreciated his team once they've gotten into the red area that they've been able to put the ball in the end zone.
To me, to be really successful in the red zone, both offensively and defensively, I think it starts with the ability to stop the run and the ability to run the ball in the red zone. Look, the field shrinks down there. There's a lot less windows to throw the ball into. But if you're able to run the ball effectively, and now all of a sudden, teams are having to bring more people down in the box, it opens up a lot more that you can do in the passing game. And so I just think that's something that we believe in is the ability to run the football.
And you've seen that because they've run the ball, but they've also gotten Alvin Kamara involved in the passing game down there, and he scored a touchdown there in the third quarter. You saw it in the opener. Foster Moreau got involved with a touchdown catch. They actually hit a play to Foster Moreau that would have been a touchdown, but it got called back for a legal man downfield that was just outside the red zone. But it's in the same area of the field we're talking about there. They've been really, really good at running it, and because of that success running it, they've gone over the top and been able to throw it as well. It's been awesome. Kool-Aid McKinstry was kind of thrust into action against Dallas, And that's a veteran quarterback and a couple of really good veteran wide receivers in Lamb and Cooks. And you didn't have Lattimore. And I think that Kool-Aid McKinstry acquitted himself quite nicely.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good. Fundamentally, technique-wise, I thought he graded out really well. I thought he did a good job up on the line of scrimmage, press coverage, getting his hands on receivers, running with the receivers down the field. And so I think for his first time out, I was really pleased with what I saw. And I thought his aggressiveness and his tackling and his willingness to, get involved in contact, I thought was an improvement, and it was good to see.
It would be a surprise to me if at any point in Dennis Allen's tenure, whether that goes 10 more years or 10 more months, it would be a surprise to me if in Dennis Allen's tenure, the Saints did not have quality defensive back plays. That's his baby. That's what he did. That's what he's done. That's what he's coached, and he's got an eye for it, and he can develop it. And when they've gone to the draft and taken DBs in his time, it's been good. Now, they've had some misses, especially at safety and free agency. But you talk about guys that they've brought in, Lattimore, Adebo, Alontae Taylor, like those guys, even the free agents that they brought in at times, at corner and undrafted guys. Like they've had guys at DB that could play. And I think that's a feather in Dennis Allen's cap. He's very, very, very good at that. Kool-Aid McKinstry is the latest, and Dennis Allen said he had confidence in him.
We drafted him in the second round for a reason. He's smart. He's instinctive. He's fundamentally sound in what he does from a coverage standpoint. And so I think those are all things that we knew were there. But the fact that he wasn't here all spring or available all spring, he got injured in the San Francisco game, kind of made it harder for us to see him a whole lot, throughout the course of the summer. But, we feel confident in his ability to go in there and help us win if we need him to.
This last bite is actually from the game from Sunday, but I wanted to get to it here as we close out. We talked about Alvin Kamara in that first Saints segment in the first hour, and just how great he looks. He's back up to his prime average yards per carry. Now the sample size is tiny. 2 games does not suggest 16 to 17 games worth of statistics. But when Alvin Kamara was at his best, he was running the ball for upwards of 5 yards a carry. And over the last 3 years, it was like 3.5, 3.9, 3.2. He was a full yard and a half short of what he had been. And you start to add those numbers up, and you get 18, 20 carries, and all of a sudden you're talking about 30, 40 yards. That's a big deal. It's a big deal to run for 80 or 120. And so there's been a lot of talk about Alvin Kamara because he wants that new contract and because he's knocking on 30's door. And Dennis Allen kind of spoke to his confidence level in Kamara as a player at this spot in his career.
I never felt like he was an aging running back. I felt like he was still an explosive player, and I think we're utilizing him in a way that allows him to, be effective. I think he's still one of those guys that if you create some space and he's able to operate in space, I think he's pretty good. But yeah, I thought he ran the ball well, and I thought caught the ball well out of the backfield.
I think it's fair for Dennis Allen to say I never thought of him as an aging running back. Any running back, period, what's just end of discussion, that is 30 years old is an aging running back. That is the end of that discussion. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't produce in your 30s. It's been done. Frank Gore showed you can do that. Adrian Peterson was okay in his early 30s as well. But it's few. It's rare. And so as Kamara gets to that age, you look at Derrick Henry, he can still play a little bit. But as Kamara gets to that age, it's reasonable to question him. And certainly, when you look at the injuries and the lack of production, it was reasonable to question him. And I'm still not completely over the moon about the Saints taking a 2-week sample size and inking him to a 3-year contract at age 30. Our conversation has changed from 10 days ago, but I'm still cautious of that. Let's see it for 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 weeks. And then, okay, if he earns that and the Saints are among the top 5 offenses in the league, and Alvin Kamara is a straw that's stirring that drink, and you think that there's still some juice in that tank, and sure, maybe. Now, I don't know how long Clint Kubiak's going to be with the Saints, so that's a discussion for another day. But it's been awesome to watch AK the last 2 weeks. He has looked like the guy who is the greatest running back in potentially Saints history. And so it's a refreshing thing to see him be able to operate in some space and have the success that he has had early on. So that's some sound from Dennis Allen. If you want our Saints coverage on YouTube, you can always find us at Hunt on Saints. We've seen some great views on that channel for good reason over the last 2 weeks, as people are really, really excited about the black and gold. If you want more black and gold content, you don't want to scroll through the entire show or try to search through the podcast to find it, go to Hunt on Saints on YouTube. All the segments cut up into 10 or 12 minute digestible videos. So you can get your Saints content each and every day from us at Hunt. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.